Hello, hello, welcome all. Hello, hello, welcome all. Welcome everyone back to GPRL. I've had a bit of time off over the so-called winter break of the driver. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been racing. And we're here for Season 6. New teams, new drivers who can impress. Round 1 here in Bahrain. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you won't know. Make sure you do for all the latest about GPRL Season 6. We are running a whole 22 race calendar this year. That is the F1 races, all of them. Not in order. We've got Bahrain kicking us off for Season 6 Round 1 today. And that will take us all the way through to Abu Dhabi. In the final round 22 race calendar, we have introduced a new Joker format of a race. Right, it will be a 100% race at a short track, aside from a 50% race at a normal track. Anyway, we're about 10 minutes into the session so far. Dylan has just gone fastest. He was faster before. He's improved by a couple of tenths of a second in that Red Bull. He ended last season pretty strongly with a handful of wins, handful of pole positions to go with it. He showed very impressive pace. Could this be the season that he takes it to Felix? His first full season this will be in GPRL, having joined about halfway through last season. I think he'll be pretty happy that the hard tyre is seemingly a popular option. Here's Sam in the Renault, starting his lap, a reserve for this season. Will be coming in here and there. Some will notice him as my co-commentator over from InVRL. He's currently up in P2 doing a very impressive job. As we'll see his split through the second sector in just a moment. He is sat in the Renault at the moment and quite comfortably ahead of Alex, his teammate, his full-time Renault driver, down in P12. Here's Sam. We'll see the middle sector split in just a moment. Goes through the middle sector. He may have backed out of this one. He gets very wide off the curb there through the fast right-hander. He's only ever so slightly down, so it looked like quite a slow lap from Sam. Clearly he's still pushing, so we'll watch it as he's only got one more corner left to navigate. Braking hard into the final corner, back on the power. He was ever so slightly down in his sector 2 split. DRS activated, the run to the line. Can he improve? He can't. He's he's 2/10 of a second slower, so he will stay P2. Still pretty impressive for Sam in the Renault there. Third is Lucas. Good showing from him as well, kicking off the season on the right foot. Felix is fourth in the garage, about half a second off on the same tyres as Dylan. So that's an interesting one. Tim down in P5, extend the pits now. He's on fresh medium tyres. Red Bull could be the team to beat this year as they go on the hunt for a second Constructors' Championship in GPRL, the last one coming at the hands of Felix and Bahrain. Those two of which who have moved to Ferrari for this year, up from Alfa Romeo. Here's Bahrain out on some medium tyres. Disappointing season last time out for Bahrain. I believe he was third in the in the driver standing. Sorry, his worst season to date in GPRL, which I think says something about his standards. But he'll be looking to improve on that and kick the season off in the correct direction. However, he's currently a second off his teammate on the same tyres, so unless he had a mistake on his lap, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, back to Tim. Yeah, Red Bull could be the guys to beat at the moment. He is currently about 8/10 off his teammate, but if Red Bull can secure solid points, they should be pretty happy. Also, just a little note ahead of this new season, GPRL previously used their own take of the point system. We are now switching to the real-life F1 point system. So 25 for a win, 18 for second, 15 for third. So that is that's the idea. Should be quite an interesting one. I do need to check that. Yep, so we are on a full point system for the first time in GPRL history. As previously mentioned, the longest calendar is Tim. Coming through the first sector now, a couple of tenths up on his best, a 28-1. It's a decent time through the first sector. He's looking to trouble the likes of Sem and Lucas. A Red Bull front row lookout for the first round of the season would be very impressive. However, a lot of drivers opting or steering away from the softs. Luke in the racing point goes P1. 2.5 tenths quicker than Dylan on softer tyres. Here's Dylan now on his outlap on the medium tyres, so we might see quite a few drivers switch over to that medium tyre. Here's Lucas on the medium tyre trying to go faster. Felix also out on the medium tyres. Back to Tim now. He's half a second up through the middle sector. It's been an impressive job so far from Tim. If he continues like that, he should be able to trouble the top flight. Bahrain in the Ferrari has just gone P3, improved by nearly a second and a half. He'll be able to go for another lap. He can cool his tyres off. So will Luke. Here's Lucas. He's about a tenth down through the final sector. Let's see what he can do. We run to the line, DRS activated. He's not able to improve much. Felix now out of the session. He'll have to rejoin Jana now. Only P8 in the Williams this season. Him and Marcos, the driver lineup. Alfie stepping in today to replace him. He's a newbie for GPRL. The Williams could be very strong. Bahrain retiring from the session. Tim, meanwhile, went P3, so that's very impressive for himself. He may be able to sneak another lap in as we now follow Jana through the first sector. He's 2.5 tenths up, nearly on his lap time. Currently 1.3 seconds off Alfie now, retiring from the session. Not sure if that is a crash or he's had his best. I believe that's Matthijs just starting his lap, or just finishing his lap, goes P8, so he breaks into the top 10. Back to trying to find where everyone is on their laps right now. Yannick coming through the middle sector split, he's a lot down. Dylan goes fastest, and by a length, half a second quicker. Just viewed his profile, half a second quicker than anyone else. That's an incredible lap from Dylan and steers well clear of everyone else. Here's Sam starting his lap now. I don't think anyone will be able to get anywhere near. Felix still having troubles with the session. Jarno has backed off, so he will get a chance to do another lap. There's Enrico making a mistake. Here's Yannick starting his lap. Got Alex in the Renault, he'll get round for a lap. Zeph, it might be quite tight, he should without any issues. Salim going wide, turn 12 proving awkward. Damien, reserve driver yet again for this season, looking to prove his worth. On the medium tyre, Rico now. There's Zeph gone off the track, he won't get another lap in. That's his qualifying done. The best he will do today is 13th. So Rico, it'll be the first of those to finish their laps and their qualifying sessions with it. Back on the power, P17 currently for Rico, quite a way behind his teammate. What can he do now? P3, very impressive lap from Rico in the Alfa Romeo to go up ahead of Tim and Bahrain. Incredible job from him there. What can Sam do now? Currently the leading rookie in terms. Can he keep that going? Can he improve? He improves, but not his position. P6 for Sam, pretty impressive. Jana now, nearly 2 tenths up on his time through the first sector. He's taken another chunk of about 3 more tenths through the middle sector. If he can continue this, he might be able to challenge up with Sam. Yannick goes P7 on the medium tyre. Impressive lap time from him there. He could be in with a shout for some good points in the race. Jana now pushed out of the top 10. He's going to power all the way to the line. DRS activated. What can he get? P8, not a bad effort from Jano on them medium tyres. Felix now, only P10. What can Alex do? He's 2 tenths up on his lap time. I don't think he'll be challenging it as we go through the final corner. Back on the power, and Alex will be staying P14. Comfortable pole. For Dylan. Over half a second clear of Luke, and that's got to please not only Red Bull, but I think he'll be pretty happy with himself after that one. further back, as we got 3 different constructors in the top 3. Luke was P2, pretty impressive, and Rico managed to get P3. So I think you can be pretty happy about that. Disappointing for Ferrari, the drivers who are defending the Constructors' Championship after having won it last season with Alfa Romeo, are only 5th and 11th, so they have work to do in the race. A lot of drivers opting for harder tyres to start the race on. High degradation here in Bahrain. Wait for the drivers to load back in. Felix has joined. He's been having a bit of a nightmare on joining and leaving again. Welcome everyone to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. What are your predictions ahead of this race? Will Dylan be able to convert... Hello, Hotline Mode Vero PS4. Will Dylan be able to convert pole into the win? If qualifying's anything to go by, I think he will. Here we go then. All 17 drivers in the session, ready to go. We'll have a quick look at the tyres the drivers have selected to start this race on. Remember, the top 10 will start the race on the tyres they qualified on. Looking back, as Dylan getting very out of shape through turn 2. Here's Felix, who I believe is not in the session. So that's a terrible start for Felix, who came here to defend his championship. In essence, didn't get into Q3, and now I don't think he's going to be able to start the race, so that's very disappointing for himself. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, so Matthijs going for the medium tyre, Enrico, Alex, Zef also going with the medium tyre, then Alfie in P16 and Salim at the back of the grid will be selecting the soft tyre. So surprisingly, no drivers opting for the hard tyre, considering a lot of them were quite keen to go out on them in the first place. All drivers are warming up the tyres. A very long formation lap here in Bahrain. Rico on the softer tyres should be able to get a good launch and might even be able to take it to the likes of Luke and Dylan if he launches well. And he's got to be careful and watch the tyres, because he doesn't want them falling off too soon. Dylan just trying to keep all the pack in order. Doesn't want his tyres to be too cool, because as soon as he parks on the grid, them tyres will be depleting. Not trying to give his rivals any kind of advantage. It's been quite a long off season. Drivers have had the best part of a month now to kick back and relax and recharge the batteries, but they're all ready to go now. And here we are for round 1 of season 6, GPRL's longest calendar to date. 21 F1 rounds, including a 1 joker round, placed slap bang in the middle of the season. Who can create the best impression off the line? It's Dylan in the Red Bull on the front row, possibly mounting his title challenge. Luke in P2. So here we go, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the start of GPRL Season 6. It looks as if the front two got away pretty equally. How are they going to fare? Into turn number 1. Dylan harsh on the brakes. Looks like everyone quite happy. Little amount of contact as we go through the second corner. Luke's been forced out. Lost 2 places now to Tim and to Rico, who might be taking it to Dylan and possibly taking the lead of the race as Dylan switches back onto the inside line. As now we got Tim trying to go all the way around the outside of Luke. A lot of battling here in the opening stages of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Looks like Sam has also made up a place past Moran, who started on them harder times, but he goes off the track, coming back onto the track now behind Moran. Moran gets back up ahead, so it looks as if an impressive start for Dylan, as he's now ahead. He's just got to maintain that gap if possible. Got a lot of moving about further back. I'm not sure if that's due to contact. There's Lucas and Yannick, who've definitely had some form of contact and gone straight on, so that's not going to do their races any good. Meanwhile, a little bit further up, here's Jano soldiering on. Damien has managed to get up into P7. Impressive job from him. He's going very wide as Jano. All the drivers still quite close to each other at the start of this Bahrain Grand Prix. However, back to the front of the pack, Dylan starting to create a bit of a gap and give himself some breathing room between himself and Rico just behind. Remember, Rico, a GPRL race winner, GPRL pole sitter back in China in season 4, I believe. It might have been season 5. Nonetheless, Rico does have experience up here, and he'll be looking to try and convert into a possible podium. But Luke will be trying everything he can to pull back what he can. Tim currently just on the edges of a podium, and he can smell it. So whether he wants enough to close up DRS not activated this lap. As Moran now still hanging on. He making his debut, flying the flag for Ferrari, as Felix not able to take the start. Notice quite a lot of understeer on the cars. It looks as if the driver's setting up slightly more tailored towards the straights. This is Jano now. Jano actually back on the pad for today. He's used to driving on the wheel. However, his wheel has had a problem. He's waiting for a repair, so he's going to have to put up with what he can for the time being. However, doing a solid job so far. Meanwhile, Luke is closing up to Rico, and he is dragging Tim with him and the chasing pack. Sam currently doing a good job in P6. He maintained that from the start after briefly getting past Moran. Onto the main straight now. Is Luke close enough for a move? He's got all the ERS in the world. No DRS this lap as Dylan sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's gaining. Here goes Luke. He's going to go to the inside. Rico does not offer a defense as Luke snoops past on the inside up into P2. Nice clean move there from the driver in the racing point, and he's quite happy to move up into P2, and Rico doesn't have too many problems with it. I think Rico understands that isn't quite his race. Further back, got the Toro Rosso scrubbling. I believe that is Salim and Enrico. Looks like Salim made a move down the inside of turn number 1. As Enrico going to the inside, a great little scrap between these two drivers. Down the inside goes Enrico. A little bit of damage on the car of Enrico there, and Salim giving his teammate a lot of room as they continue down the hill. Nice little battle between the Toro Rosso teammates there, as they again seemingly struggling for this season. DRS activated now, as Dylan has got a 3-second gap at the front. How much will this DRS help Rico in staying ahead of Tim? If Tim wants to be able to push on for a podium, possibly make it a Red Bull 1-2, he's going to have to get a move on in moving past the likes of Rico and Luke. These two battling still quite hard. Can maybe push on now, try and get some good points that is, as Enrico picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Here comes Rico. Another fastest lap for Dylan. He keeps improving. Will Rico go for the move, or will be happy to sit in P3? It looks like Tim now maybe offering a move. Down the inside goes the Red Bull driver. This is for the final spot on the podium. Rico goes out wide. He was in that seat last year. Moran gets an excellent run out the second turn, and in turn he's taken P4, might be in a position to take P3 from Tim. He stays there, but Rico going back up the inside, forcing Moran to give him the space. Excellent racing there between the two drivers. I believe Moran got a little bit sideways on the exit, so gave the position, or gave the opportunity for Rico to take the position back, and good bit of racing there from the drivers. Moran now still though very close to Rico. Rico has fallen out of DRS zone. That he hasn't. He just didn't activate the DRS. He's going to let Bahrain go pretty easily as Bahrain snoops back ahead of him up into P4. He'll be looking to try and push on and get into the DRS off Tim further back. There's contact. I believe that is Jarno and Damien have gone off. Is that front wing damage for Jarno? Yes, damage to the front wing of the Williams. Not a great start. Not how Jarno would have wanted to start the season. I believe Damien may have escaped with that damage. Looking at the front wing, it looks pretty healthy. Meanwhile, here's Tim back on the power. These two originally scheduled to be teammates, Luke and Tim. However, before a last minute change in Red Bull snooped up Tim. Currently looking at a very strong driver lineup. Bahrain now defending from Rico, going tight. Rico's going to have a cutback line. A big slide there from Bahrain should hand a pretty easy P4 to Rico as he's going to go up the inside. Bahrain seemingly struggling with the rear tyres. He gets a switchback move though, very smart move there by the Season 3 and Season 4 champion. He's going to move up into P4 now as we go down the hill. Lucas now has retired from the session. I'm not entirely sure why. Not sure if he gave up or had an incident somewhere. Meanwhile, Tim, we look back to this battle. Tim very close to Luke. He's got the DRS. He won't be able to make a move yet. It's not really a place the drivers like to make a move, this part of the track, as it 9 times out of 10 gives the car you are overtaking DRS into the next section. There's Tim using, there's a VSC deployed now. Okay, so I was just going to say Tim using all the track in the mud. There was Lucas off on the right, so he's obviously made a mistake. Okay, so looking at the tyres real quick. Rico and Sam who's just picked up a time penalty, a drive-through penalty actually, for speeding. Might be smart now for Rico to pop in under the virtual safety car, and it looks like that's what he is going to do. Sam will follow him. I'd expect people like Alfie and Salim to also pit, as they are on soft tyres which seem to deteriorate pretty quickly. There's Sam in medium tyres, that will be a 2-stop. Medium tyres also for Rico, so a 2-stop for both of them drivers. That's going to promote Zef up into P6. Matthijs going well up in P5. As there we go, green, green, green. Alfie didn't pit and he's opted to stay out. So Rico will now emerge 10th with Sam, who goes very wide on turn 1, comes at 11th, and Salim continues in P12. So, a little bit further forward, has much change. Zef is close to the back of Matthijs as we go through the middle sector, out of the hairpin. And Rico did use this virtual safety car to pit, so he will save some time, albeit not loads of time. The top 8 drivers all started and are yet to pit on the medium tyre. Alfie, the last of the drivers not to pit, he started on the soft, so I imagine a pit stop pretty soon for himself. There's Zef going off the track. Interesting track limits there from him. Anyway, here's Tim closing up to Luke, looking to make it Red Bull in P1 and P2. Luke currently holding on for all he can. Dylan's got, I don't think Luke is able to match Dylan's pace. I don't think anyone is today. And I don't want to jinx anything, but he looks to be strolling to a pretty easy win, if things stay as they are. Tim flicked it down to no ERS then, so don't think he was quite close enough for a move, maybe saving it for this straight. There's a little pull out to see if anything's on, but he's going to have to stay behind for the time being. Luke looking pretty slippery in a straight line. Meanwhile, Zef is still behind. I think Rico has got past Alfie. He has. On the outside of turn number 1, he seems to be struggling with the tyres. And Sam, I don't think he's quite close enough to make a move there. But yeah, Alfie's tyres obviously gone. I'm not sure if he's trying to stretch a 1-stop. But I don't think he'll be challenging for any points today, unless there's a safety car. As I imagine Sam will be making this move pretty soon. is into turn number 12, I believe. Back on the power. Sam just a lot smoother on the power with them fresher tyres. And with the DRS, you'd imagine the move would be pretty easy. You're going to look down the inside, and he's really being held up here by Alfie and the Williams. There's a little bit of contact between the two cars as they go wheel to wheel. They contact bank tyres twice or three times then, as he goes all the way around the outside, forced off by Alfie, and he's still around the outside of the Williams car, and he goes off the track yet again. And they rejoin side by side. Alfie now tucks back in, going to go around the outside. Second time lucky. I think tactically then Sam eased off to get a better exit. Here he'll have DRS, or he should have DRS. I think it might be. I think Alfie actually snatched the DRS, so didn't quite work there for Sam. He's going to go to the inside now, or try down the inside. It's a late braking move from the Renault driver, and it looks as if he might have made that move, but Alfie still there on the inside, cuts the corner ever so slightly, gets a time penalty for his troubles, and Sam finally has that moved on. Rico was, after that, 5-second gap nearly, just by getting through Alfie a lap earlier, so that has hurt Sam's race. And Rico's right up to the back of Alex now, who is starting to struggle on them tyres. Meanwhile, Zeph has just got past Matthijs. Will Matthijs be able to hold it in the DRS? Meanwhile, I've just noticed Luke is closing up on Dylan. He's closed about a second in the last 2 laps. Meanwhile, we got Alex and Rico. Now Rico and Alex, as he moves past the Renault driver up into P8. So he's not going to be pushing. He's got quite a gap to the car ahead, so he's got a lot of clean air he can settle into. And here we've got Matthijs back for another one with Zeph. 10-second time penalty for corner cutting with Alfie. Interesting one. A little bit of contact there between Matthijs and Zeph. Around the outside goes the Alfa Romeo driver. If you can hold it around the outside, that'll be an impressive move. He can. And he's up into P5. Zeph off the track, taken to the gravel. I don't think as Sam is back into the pits actually. Not entirely sure what happened there. So that could be his race run. As it looks like, yeah, Matthijs gets that position. He's up into P5. He needs to try and pull a gap if he can right now. This is the closest battle on track currently as we go through the middle sector. Zeph's still behind on that last lap where he had got ahead. That should provide him with an advantage though onto the main straight. As he sticks behind into the final corner. Meanwhile these guys are battling. Damien's closing up and might get involved in the near future, but this should be quite an easy move for Zeph. With DRS and he powers past. Matthijs gonna have to tuck in, find a little bit of a Schumacher Barrichello vibe going on there, but all clean and good racing. These guys having quite a good little battle. As Sam picks up a time penalty for corner cutting. He's come into the pits and come back out on used medium tyres, so I'd imagine he's pitted for a front wing. Meanwhile, got Zeph and Matthijs moving around again. Going to be side by side down the hill. Zeph picks up the position. I believe Matthijs in the Alfa Romeo had a run on him. Into turn number 4, he shows a nose down the inside and makes that move. Zeph giving him a lot of room, being very respectful. Is Zeph in the Haas? He's going to go down the inside. Is Matthijs there? I believe that was an ABC there. So if he does not give that position back, he should be getting a penalty. We'll have to see. But as I said, Damien right up onto the back of this now, and all of a sudden he's in the fight for P5. So interesting times with Damien, GPRL race winner in Austria. As Dylan now into the pits, lap 10 Lap 11, I should say. So that will give Luke the lead of the race with Tim in chase. First pit stop of the new season for Red Bull. That's all gone pretty smoothly. There's Enrico drifting through the corners and doing a good job of keeping it in a straight line. Got a lot of cars pitting now. Matthias pits. That will put Rico up into P5. Bahrain pits for hard tyres. It seems to be the pit window for the medium tyre starters. Hard tyres also for Alfa Romeo, the reigning Constructors' Champions. Will they be able to win it again this year? Be quite a task. But they still have the potential for something decent. As I mentioned before, here's Damien, right up to the back of Zeph, clearly within DRS. Will these drivers pit this lap or will they try and extend? Here's Matthias who's come out right behind Jarno. Jarno on 6 lap old hard tyres, forced into an early stop. He's still in the on the brink of the points though, so impressive. We've got the lead drivers into the pits, Luke and Tim. Can Red Bull pull off a worldie of a pit stop and get him ahead of his rival? Hard tyres for both drivers. As Tim out, has he jumped Luke? I don't think he has. Luke stays ahead, so Zeph takes the lead of the race. He doesn't pit. Damien does, so he'll be looking for an undercut. And there we go, hard tyres on. Hard tyres is a popular thing. Here comes Rico now. I think he's actually managed to maybe just undercut the guys of Luke and Tim. There we go, Rico ahead of Luke and Tim, albeit he does have another stop to make, but he's in a very strong position on those tyres. Got a yellow flag in Sector 1 and in Sector 2 and Sector 3, sorry, and that is because of Enrico, who's had a torrid day, and I'm not sure if he's had contact with his teammate. But nevertheless, Salim has moved up past. So yeah, Rico ahead of Luke. So impressive job there from Rico to jump up into a net P2. Bear in mind he does have another stop to make. So I don't know if this is... I'm fairly confident he won't be finishing in P2. But you never know, we're not even at half race distance yet. And here comes Luke. Will he be making a move? He'll want to make a move relatively easy. Rico defends the inside, be forced to go around the outside. Rico's not going to leave him any space there. He gets forced off, and this is harming Luke's race as Tim seems to have lost touch with him ever so slightly, but he's still there, and Bahrain isn't a million miles back. So Luke needs to make this move as soon as possible. Rico with little ERS to play with. He's going to defend the inside line, but I don't think there's going to be too much he can do. There goes Luke moving past. Tim not able to follow suit. There's contact! There's contact, and Luke has been turned round by Rico. I'm sure that was completely unintentional, but as a result of the contact, Luke dropping to P5 and behind Tim. I'm sure that will be a penalty coming the way of Rico, who just couldn't slow it down, and therefore will most likely be getting a penalty. Meanwhile, there's Matthias sort of losing touch to Jarno. This is the closest battle on the track. Dylan closing up to Zeph, who still hasn't pitted. He might be waiting for a safety car or something, but you'll do well to get one. Here goes Rico now. Here goes Tim, sorry, round the outside, trying what Luke did last lap out. Impressive move for Tim if he can hold it in. He can't quite. Rico offering a very good defense right now, and just making Dylan's job in the lead that little bit easier. And Bahrain is also toddling up to the back of these guys, so could have quite an interesting battle coming our way. Zeph finally pits, another fast lap of the race from Dylan, a 1:30.7. Remember, one extra point for the fastest lap. Currently coming the way of Dylan. There goes Tim down the inside. Pretty easy move. Luke not going to follow suit. So Rico, well, he will follow suit as Rico just goes very deep. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. But nevertheless, they continue. And Rico down to P4. Luke up to P3 and Tim up to P2, making it a Red Bull 1-2. The first time we've seen this since Season 4, where Red Bull dominated the Constructors' Championships. Felix saying he had an internet problem, so disappointing start for the reigning GPRL champion. Here's Luke going for a move on Tim, already making his way through. Quite an impressive surge from Luke, trying to put himself in a bit of a Red Bull sandwich. As they're still side by side, Luke's gone all the way around the outside of Tim there. That's a very impressive move from Luke there, if he can hold it in, but Tim is going to come back. He's not, he's going to tuck in, presumably wait for the DRS. That was an impressive move from Luke. Potential candidate for overtake of the week. As here comes Tim. Imagine this would be an easy move if these guys continue to battle. Rico now might even get involved as Luke defends the inside. Tim though goes ever so slightly deep, may pick up DRS from Alfie ahead, which may keep him ahead of Luke for one more lap. No DRS for Tim. Is Luke close enough for a lunge? I don't think he is. Turn 4 lends himself to overtaking, but Luke goes wide, which is going to give Rico an opportunity. Can't quite capitalise on it, but Bahrain now is right in the game, and he could be looking to pick up some of these scraps. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, looks like Matthias is close back up to Jana. He's stayed pretty comfortably in the DRS as Jana's tyres might start to go off around about now. Is Bahrain close enough for a move? I don't think he is. Looks like we're all going to follow suit for another DRS train onto lap number 16. There he goes. Is that Tim pitting? I thought Tim was pulling off into the pits then. No need for that. Just very harshly defending the inside line. Is Luke close enough for a lunge? He's close enough. Doesn't opt for one though. He's going to stick behind Bahrain now. Down the inside of Rico. Looked a pretty impressive and somewhat easy move as Rico not able to fight it. Will he be able to come back? He won't. He doesn't have DRS. Bahrain taking the DRS for that one. There goes Luke down the inside of the Red Bull of Tim. As they go back on the power now, looks like Tim able to hold it around the outside. Impressive move. Or impressive defense rather from Tim. As he's holding on to that Red Bull 1-2. And I'm sure Helmut Marko and Christian Horner will be pretty happy with that. Meanwhile, Damien managed to undercut Zeph. And he's got quite a comfortable gap now. As we continue. Damien currently up in P6. An impressive job from himself, showing he does have some real true value. As here's a bit of a switch up in P2 now. Luke down the inside of Tim. We know these two get on very well. They're racing a lot of different leagues together, giving each other a lot of respect. They've got to be careful battling though, because Bahrain is right there behind them, and not far behind him is Rico, who will be there to pick up any scraps if there is an incident. However, I'd imagine Rico will be pitting pretty soon. With that move Luke made, it gets him up a position, it's all well and good, but he's going to lose a spot here for the DRS unless he pulls off a worldie of a defence, which I don't think he'll be able to. Tim looks very strong. He's going to be forced to go around the outside. I think he's going to make that move stick though into turn number 1. Happy days. Tim back up again into P2. Can Luke battle it though up into turn number 4? He's got DRS. Tim's going to defend the inside line, and then ease back onto the racing line. He's up into P2. And again he's challenged with trying to pull a gap. Here is Sem now, pitted again for soft tyres. This race has not gone his way, having started, I believe, 5th. He's right on the back of Enrico. Enrico really defending the inside line. Into the final corner. It's a side-by-side contact as Enrico goes very deep. I believe Enrico is struggling with his tyres actually, as Sem is off the track, sent into a spin. It's a pretty shocking day for him through no fault of his own. We may be looking into that after the race. Meanwhile, Luke still keeping Tim honest. Rico's kind of dropped off. I'd expect him to pit very soon. Moran though still in the fight, doing a good job in the Ferrari. He might be able to pick up a podium. Here goes Luke. For the first time in a couple of laps, it's been him behind being the attacker. Tim doesn't offer defence as Luke goes down the inside. Side by side into turn 1. They're going to be side by side again through turn 2 as Luke was handed the outside line. So Tim stays ahead. Impressive defending from Tim, opting for the outside line. Will Luke now send one down the inside of turn number 4? He won't, as everyone follows suit. It's all very close. No one able to make that killer instinct move though. Looks like the gap's sort of stabilising other than this battle. Be quite interesting to see where Rico comes out after a stop. I believe he should exit in P10. Might sneak out just ahead of Yannick if he's lucky, but I doubt it. And then on fresh tyres, how far forward will Rico be able to come? He's one of the only drivers that opted for a 2-stop and stuck with it. Here we go now though, onto the back straight. Looks like it's going to be a fairly easy move for Luke as he moves past. There's Rico in the pits. I believe Moran might follow suit. He could have had a go down the inside there though. Playing the long game though, being cautious. Got to respect that from the season 3 and 4 champion. Here goes Tim though. Can he come back at Luke? I don't think he can, he's too far back. And he's going to have to carry on. Moran though, he was in with a sniff there. He definitely could have had a go. Yannick pits for soft tyres, and imagine he's had a very long stint on them hard tyres. Don't think he started on them, but he must have pitted in the first couple of laps. Maybe he got involved in some contact. But here's Rico out in P9 as predicted. Oh, that is Sam off the track. I don't know where he's gone off. I can't really tell where that is. It's in sector 2. So it's a weird place to have gone off. I believe it is at the double left-hander. And that's the end of his day. And not a happy debut for GPRL with him. Someone who is having a happy day though is Damien up in P5. A couple of seconds clear of Zeph behind, who himself in turn is having a good day, and I think is on. Got a bit slidey there. I think he's on for one of his best finishes in GPRL. Jano though still pressing, doing a good job having just returned to the controller. However, here is Matthijs, who's been pressuring Jano for the majority of this stint. He's still there. Luke ahead of Tim into turn number 1. Tim gets a good exit, he's close enough to maybe mount a challenge. With DRS enabled, is he going to look to the inside? He's having a little look. He's late on the brakes, but it's not quite enough. Matthijs too far back for a move on Jano. Matthijs might want to start thinking about saving his ERS. considering the low rate of it. Whilst these two are battling, they are closing up on the guys ahead. So a P5 finish isn't out the question for maybe someone like Matthias. Jana showing a decent pace so far. As mentioned, we're switching to the pad. Yannick now is really close to Alex in the Renault. Yannick is now ahead of Alex in the Renault as he goes down the inside of turn 4. It's a good move, moving himself up into the final points paying positions. I'm thinking be pretty happy with that. But he's got quite a gap to go to Rico, who is pushing on up in P9. With 8 laps to go in this race. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2 and Sector 3. I'm not sure who that is for. That's for Jana, who's had a spin. As Rico's got past him. So Jana overheating the rear tyres going round. Jana now into the pits. That might put Yannick up into P9. That might give Alex his points on his GPRL return. Alex racing, I believe, his first time since season 3 today. Here comes Jana out of the pits. Yannick will go past him. I'm not sure about Alex. Alex will not be able to get past him. But yeah, Yannick up him to P9. Jana P10, fresh tyres. I'd imagine he'd push on and get past him pretty easily. We still got this squabble going on at the front with 8 laps to go. There's Enrico now, is another fast lap of the race from Dylan. Here's Enrico, the two Toro Rosso guys battling. Salim really forces his teammate wide, and Salim goes even wide himself, misjudges the braking point completely. And the Toro Rosso swap around. They've been having an interesting battle this whole race. Here comes Tim up into P2. Red Bull 1-2 yet again. Luke though looking for a bit of a switchback line. Open up turn 2 through turn 3. Good power application. DRS as he goes up the hill, he's going to move to the inside. That's going to be a pretty happy move for the Racing Point driver, who is flying the flag high for his team. Yannick down in P9. I've been really fascinated by the battle between these two. It's not for any points, but they're certainly having a good time with it. We know they get on very well, but it's the second year in a row as teammates. Will they be able to bring a bit more success to Toro Rosso than last year? Their final year before being rebranded to AlphaTauri. Little news flash for you there. Salim's going to get DRS. Go down the first straight. Got a yellow flag. There's a big player, that's Marine! Marine's gone off after chasing for a podium. He smashes the polystyrene board. And his rear tyres are going to be screaming. So that's going to put even little pressure on Tim, who nearly goes round himself. All the rear tyres are spinning up right now. So Marine, I'm not sure if he's going to have to pit, but he's going to be struggling a lot. Tim also should be struggling a lot. That's a very good save from Tim. Marine not able to follow suit. Here we have Yannick and Jana, not teammates for the first time in 5 seasons. Jana departing to Williams to partner Marcos, whereas Yannick departed to Racing Point. I can't imagine this will be too hard for Jana with the DRS. There goes Jana. Down the inside, switches to the outside, sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Be an extra point coming his way. Switchback line there for Jana. They're going to be side by side through turn 2. A little bit of contact there for Yannick, as I believe he picked up a penalty. We should be able to remove that. But yeah, good racing between the ex-Sauber teammates. And nevertheless, it was inevitable that Jana would go up as Dylan matches and goes a little bit quicker than Jana on 13 lap older, 2 set harder tyres. So Dylan's really happy out in the lead. These two though battling all race. Tim would dearly love to bring home a second place, which would in turn mean a 1-2 for Red Bull. Luke though not letting it happen at the moment. Meanwhile, Yannick sort of lost touch with his teammate. Not his teammate, sorry, with Jana. Matthijs now pits with just 5 laps to go, so that's a very late stop. He should come out in P8. It'll be close though. So that's going to release his teammate Rico to chase up to Zeph. He's got fresher, softer tyres, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to do that. Where is Matthijs going to exit? It's going to be close to Jana. It's going to be behind Jana. It could even be behind Yannick. I think he's going to split the pair. He is indeed, so he's now got to get a move on. Try and get past Jana. Yet again, he's faced with fresher tyres. And Jana, however, behind him, Yannick might be making a move into turn number 4. He's got the DRS. He doesn't quite have enough on him to make a move down the inside of turn number 4. But fresher tyres, will Matthijs be able to take that position? Meanwhile, we've got these guys battling again. Well, preparing to do duel again. Overtake mode activated for Tim. So he pushes on. Is he close enough for a move? He's not quite. Slightly deep there from Luke as we go through the Williams, who's left the session now, of Alfie. He picks up DRS, so that keeps Luke comfortably ahead, so a bit of a saving grace there for Luke. Meanwhile, Matthijs closed up a lot to Jana in that middle sector, so he should be retaking that position. Salim now up into P12. Got a yellow flag in sector 1. Temporaries, that is now gone. But here we go. Matthijs should be making a pretty easy move here on Jana. Jana defends all the way to the inside. Matthijs going to have to go around the outside. He brakes as late as he does. Jana ever so slightly later, but Matthijs will go, thank you very much, I'll take the switchback line. And he's up into P8, unless Jana has anything to say about it. Up the hill with DRS, I don't think he does. I don't think he's quite close enough for a lunge. He shows a nose, but that's all he can do. Meanwhile, Tim very close to Luke, very close indeed. And Luke actually backs off in order to get the DRS, so interesting tactics there. It's not something you see very often, a driver slamming the brakes in the middle of a straight. So DRS now, will Luke be able to re-overtake Tim on the power? Here we go. Round the outside goes Luke. Can he brake late enough? He's going to give it a red hot shot round the outside. There's a bit of contact wheel to wheel with the drivers. They continue through turn number 2, turn number 3. They're still wheel to wheel as we go down the second DRS straight. They're still side by side. Luke, DRS pulling him alongside. Is he going to have to go around the outside, around the long way? Tim leaves Luke the room as they're going to be side by side as they go down the hill now. Luke still holding it around the outside. They make a bit of contact as Luke has the inside line. Tim, though, going to go back on the inside line here as they're still side by side. They've been side by side for the best part of a lap now as they go back up the hill into the double left-hander. Someone's got to back out at this point, and it's Tim as Luke pushes his way ahead. And that is quite a battle. But there goes Tim back up into P2 as he gets DRS and moves past pretty happily. Looks like Jana and Matthijs are battling again. Jana's going to have to go around the outside with DRS. Makes it a little bit easier for him. Matthijs going to give him the good old turn 4 squeeze. A little bit of contact there. Front wing to tyre. Lucky there's no damage for either driver, and they are able to continue into the final couple of laps of this race. Our voice is going. Nevertheless, here we go. Luke again behind, not having to slam on his brakes this time. Tim defending all the way to the inside similar to what we saw Jarno do earlier. Tim moves back to the race line. Luke goes down the inside. That's an impressive move if he can make it stick. Looks as if Tim though had a little bit too much on the brakes. Went deep enough to counteract that dive from the Racing Point driver. Now it looks like Luke back with the DRS. He's going to go to the inside. He's going to go round the outside. A bit of a Lando Norris-esque move there as he gets the switch back. Don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move down the hill as Tim's valiant defence of P2 continues. I have to say I've been very impressed by Tim holding on to this Red Bull 1-2. You can almost see Christian Horner's foot tapping on the Red Bull's pit wall with just over 2 laps to go. Can Tim hold on to this position? As there's contact between the drivers as Luke moved to the inside, that was quite unorthodox. It looks like Luke though not able to make the move as Tim again holds it around the outside. As I believe there's more battling between Jarno and between Matthias. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. That's Enrico off. Another off for him. He was quite close to his teammate. He's not anymore. Yannick now closing back up to Jarno as his tyres are starting to go off. 3-second time penalty for Zef. Could leave him vulnerable to Rico if he doesn't have any time penalties. Here's Luke now, again going to try go around the outside. He's late on the brakes, he's going to go very deep. Tim defends the inside line though. And he's kept that position. DRS yet again though for Luke. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough though this time to make a move unless it's a very audacious lunge. Drives now closing back up to the back of Salim in P12. Impressive, pretty good job from him so far. Meanwhile, I think Jarno's tyres have started to go off as Yannick now back within DRS and he might be able to claim P9. Quite a few different battles going on that are quite interesting. Damien is right up to the back of Bahrain here. Bahrain, who smoked his tyres and spun round at the fast right-hander, is now in danger of falling behind Damien. Well, that's not going to look good. There's Damien, who raced at Ferrari last season, dropped them in favour of Marine and Felix. It's not all gone to plan for Ferrari today. Being having the drivers' champion and the pairing of constructors' champions last season at Alfa Romeo, you'd expect them to come in and put on a very good showing, but 4th and a DNS is what it's looking like at the moment. Could get even worse as we start the final lap now. Dylan cruising up ahead. However, this might be a final chance for Luke to take P2. Meanwhile, Damien now ahead of Marine. Marine will have another go onto the back straight. Here we go. It's been a decent exit for Marine. Does he have enough left in his tyres to have a go? Here comes Luke. Luke's not close enough. He's not going to get a move on Tim. Here comes Marine round the outside of Damien into turn number 1. Damien has the inside line. Ryan brakes late, goes around the outside. Really struggles with the traction though as he's back on the power now. What can Damien do? Mercedes and Ferrari battling. DRS for Damien. He's squirting out the final bits of ERS as they're down the inside, but Marine's managed to hold it around the outside. Keeps it on the track. And I believe that should be that done and dusted. Meanwhile, here's Yannick as they enter the final lap of this Grand Prix. Final lap of the first round of GPRL Season 6. Who can pick up 9th place? Looks like Jarno is going to just about hold on. Here's Dylan coming through the final sector. He hasn't put a foot wrong today. Here's Yannick still battling away with Jarno. This might be his last opportunity. He goes around the outside. Very impressive late braking move from Yannick there as he goes all the way around the outside. Up into P9. Here's Jarno coming back down the inside. There's contact between the two drivers. He's off and back to the front, taking a dominant win, his first of this season, as Jarno goes round after contact with Yannick. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull, the first time we've seen that in a long time, as Dylan heads home a Red Bull 1-2. Tim finished P2. Luke with an impressive drive, just missing out. I think his tyres might have gone off at the end. Looks like Marine is going to hold off Damien to P4 and P5. A good drive from Damien as he takes the checkered flag. P5 and best of the rookies. Zef takes P6, comes P7 after penalties are applied. P6 for Rico. However, he is under investigation for that incident with Luke earlier on, so that it may change back. Looks like Matthijs is going to claim P8, more points for himself. I'm sure he can be pretty chuffed with that. Yannick crosses the line P9. Here comes Jarno, battle with Yannick on the last lap, ended in contact. That is a shame for himself, and we just wait for Alex to cross the line now, as the Toro Rossos finished 12th and 13th. As Alex takes the final corner and the run up to the line. It's P11 for himself, but what a race from Dylan. Dominance, absolutely dominant, and I don't think he can have any complaints. We're going to go to the podium scene now. There we go then, here are the provisional results from GPRL Season 6 Round 1. Dylan managed to convert pole into the win, and he also picked up, I believe he picked up the fastest lap of the race, with a time of a 44.46.287, and he'll be absolutely chuffed with that. Tim managed to fend off Luke after a race-long battle. He got P2, Luke just missed out, still a podium, I think he'd be pretty happy with that. Bahrain P4 held off Damien, who had a great race. Rico fought back, I think he was on the wrong strategy today. He finished ahead of Zef, Matthijs and Yannick, all who had impressive races, and Jarno rounded off the points. It was quite an impressive one, and I'm very happy. GPRL is now back for Season 5, a really high intensity race there. Dylan coming out on top, I can imagine he'll be pretty happy with that. Tim saying what a race, I'm sure he's pretty happy. And looks like we're all happy and ready to go. So as I mentioned, very impressive job from Dylan. Pole win, fastest lap. Nothing much else you can say really for that. In terms of next week, the drivers are travelling. Well, they're not travelling. GPRL is visiting Russia for the Russian Grand Prix, powered by the F1 Life. You can check out the full calendar on the f1life.com/GPRL. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in on the stream. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and we'll catch you at the same time next week. Thank you very much.